I'm Lisa Gable, and I have had amazing opportunities. At the age of 19, I went to work for the Reagan administration, and I worked at the White House and the Pentagon. At the age of 24, I was recruited to Intel Corporation by the man who would become CEO and chairman. At the age of 30, I had the honorary rank of a 3-star general. When I was vice chair of a Department of Defense commission, helping women become better integrated into the military and giving them more opportunities. And at the age of 40, I became a U.S. ambassador. However, today, I'm tasked with solving a very complex problem: food allergies, something that affects 85 million Americans and 500 million people around the world. What I learned from Ingenuity is to always demand unity of purpose. What I learned from former Air Force Secretary Barbara Barrett is always replace yourself with another woman when you're going out of a high-level position. Because women helping women is how we're going to solve the tough problems, whether it's giving voice to our food allergy moms or mentoring our rising leaders. And that's the purpose of this inspiring interview series. Resilience, diligence, optimism, those are the defining characteristics of the women I'm going to introduce you to. So welcome to Breakthrough. Today's episode is about encouragement. Joining me today is a woman who co-founded with her husband one of the most successful startups in the state of Virginia, Web Methods, a company sold for $570 million, making it the most successful software IPO to date. Today, as CEO of Virginia Ready, Caren Merrick brings her expertise as an entrepreneur, board director, advisor, and executive to help people who have faced employment disruption due to COVID-19. Caren, please introduce yourself.
Lisa, thank you so much for having me today. What a delight and what an essential program it is that you're running. And yes, I'm Caren Merrick. I'm now the CEO of the Virginia Ready Initiative. It's a business-led partnership that does help Virginians whose employment was disrupted due to COVID. I'm also a board director for a variety of publicly traded companies. I'm a mother of 2 sons. One of them is getting his college degree this weekend, so we're super proud of him, and the other one is a college freshman. And I like to serve in a variety of ways in the community, through nonprofits, to mentoring other women, and just delighted that you invited me to be on your show.
Well, I appreciate it. A fun fact for everybody is that Caren and I actually didn't know each other when our husbands met. My husband, we were living in California, and our husbands were at a high-tech conference in California or Nevada, I forget where, met each other. And then when we moved to Virginia, Caren and I had the opportunity to connect and have been part of a cohort of professional women in Virginia for the last number of years, have worked together on different projects, and it's really a joy to have you. So Caren, I'm so excited that you're with us. So as I mentioned, today's episode is about encouragement. I love to kick things off with talking about your product, A Mentor in Your Pocket. So can you tell us about the Pocket Mentor app, which you created, and some of the top tips and tricks that you think help people thrive mentally every day?
Oh, yes, thank you. Oh, a great question. So I developed the Pocket Mentor mobile app for busy professionals who really just needed 1 or 2 good ideas a day, but they were on the move. They were maybe startup entrepreneurs or senior executives, and they were just too busy to actually take the time to reflect. And so I thought that this was a wonderful, convenient way to do something that every leader needs to do, which is to reflect. And so it was an everyday app. You would check it every day. And one of the first things that I advise executives and busy leaders to do is to know yourself better. And so that was the first step in this app. And it's actually the first chapter of a book that I'm working on, because every person, and especially leaders, need to know themselves better, particularly women. It's where you get your confidence. It's where you can learn to articulate what you're good at, what your vision is, and then move forward from there.
Well, in fact, when I was looking at the Mindful Boost, which I'm going to let you tell us about in a second, I was so excited about it that my daughter is a new school teacher in Dallas, Texas, and I sent it to her and she downloaded it that night because she's been very stressed with managing graduate school and work. And I just love the positivity that you had on there. And maybe you can tell everybody a little bit about what of your top favorites to share with the audience.
Well, Lisa, first of all, I want to commend your daughter on a career in teaching and education because that is one of the most important leadership roles in a lifetime. So she's stepping up to the plate with something that's super demanding. So a daily moment of insight is, again, it's where people who have a vision for their future, they're in leadership, they want to move themselves forward, and it's called a moment of insight, and you can receive it in your email every day. And it's a topic, but it usually begins with a quote. Like one of my favorite quotes of all time is by Marcus Aurelius, and he said, "The first thing is to keep an untroubled spirit. The second is to look things in the face and know them for what they are." If you take that quote about just about any issue that you face as a leader, it's going to help you. It's going to help you gain perspective. And I will confess, I'm a bit of a quotes nerd or quotes geek. I collect them, I love them, and I love to share them.
Well, it's great. And I love quotes too. And I think everybody's heard ad nauseum all of my Ronald Reagan quotes since I started my career working for Reagan. But, whether it's Churchill or Marcus Aurelius or Ronald Reagan, there's so many ways that it reminds us of one thing, which is everything we're going through today, other people have gone through also, and they survived. And I think that brings us to overcoming employment disruption. So tell us a little bit about Virginia Ready, because I know that so many people right now are restarting their lives, and not every state doesn't have the opportunity to have a Virginia Ready. But what I'm hoping through today's show is that you can share with people some tips and things to think about and what you guys do and how it is that you're mentoring people through the process.
So the Virginia Ready Initiative is actually solving a problem that has existed for years here in Virginia. And that is, we have some people who are unemployed, and yet year after year, we have thousands of jobs that are open. And these jobs are in healthcare, and they're in manufacturing, skilled trades. And Lisa, as you will know, they are in technology. And so what we did is we did a study with McKinsey and Company, and we looked at what are those credentials that people could earn rapidly so that they could get the skills for these jobs that are open. And so we stood up Virginia Ready. We have a partnership with the Virginia Community College System, and we support over 34 accelerated credentials. So within 2 to 4 months, someone who is either unemployed or underemployed could gain a new skill and then get a job with one of our business partners.
That's fantastic. And I know you're really focusing on helping people sort of with their mindset as they go through retraining. And I watched actually your LinkedIn. Sometimes you'll post things about people that you're proud of or people who've made the transition. Maybe you can just share a story that's really inspired you that will hopefully inspire other people that are watching that are going through this process.
Well, when you determine that you need to have better skills, and this could come from a variety of inputs into your life. You might lose your job. You might need to earn more of an income. And certainly during the pandemic, a lot of people, either they lost their jobs or they were furloughed or their hours were cut. So once you realize that you need new skills, what the Virginia Ready Initiative does, it gives you an opportunity to get those skills. And I'm thinking now of a woman who's a single mom. She was African American. She went in and she earned a credential as a medical assistant. And with that credential, you can actually work in a variety of settings. You can work in assisted living, you can work in a hospital, you can work in a doctor's office. But what she did is she actually went out and started her own business. So now she has clients and she'll go to people's homes as a medical assistant. And Lisa, as you know, with the demographics in this country, there's going to be a greater and greater need for these medical assistants. But I will say one more thing, and that is she said her children were at home doing school virtually. And she said, I was right alongside my children taking courses virtually. And I just thought of her as a remarkable role model for her children, for anyone, in that she got this new credential and then she started a business. Can you imagine what that must be like for her children to see their mother do that?
It is amazing because it really helps kids know that we're going to zig and zag through our life and we're going to hit bumps in the road and we're just going to persevere. And I think that's what's so important about what you're doing. And I know for some of our food allergy moms who are watching, because of the severity of their child's disease, a lot of moms end up taking time off of work. And so, not only do we have moms who might have been facing job disruption and are right now considering what it is that they do, but secondarily, if we have moms who are watching who they themselves have had to step away due to family concerns, and now they're entering back into the workforce. And I agree with you, having this woman, this amazing story that you just told, doing this with her kids, and just the pride that everybody feels. Everybody has to do their homework. Everybody has to complete the task. And then there's a a star there, an amazing opportunity. So thank you so much for sharing. And, one of the things is motherhood and work. And you've just talked about this person who I can't wait to meet someday, because I know how tough it's been for people balancing all of this. But in your case, you were starting what would become a global company, and you're very, very close to your boys. And, some of us are type A moms, and I thought you might have some top tips for our type A moms out there. Again, maybe they're entering back into the workforce. Maybe they've just been juggling everything, but people are going to start traveling again. And so people are now thinking about, oh my gosh, what do I do? How do I manage all of this? So what really helped you get through it all?
I'm so glad you asked that question because one of my heroes in my life are from my own family. In fact, two of my greatest heroes are right from within my own nuclear family, and that's my own mom. My mom and my dad were very young when they got married, and they had three children right in a row, and they taught us things very early on, and then they expected us to just do them. So they gave us the training, and then they expected so much out of us. They gave us a lot of responsibility. So my sister and I cooked dinner every night. And my sister's actually my other hero because she started her own business as well. She started a lighting design and technology company. And the interesting thing about our young parents who trained us and then expected a lot out of us, all four of their children became entrepreneurs. I think that's a very unique situation, but I would say to working moms, give your children lots of responsibility. It builds their confidence, it builds their skill set so that when they go out in the world, they will be fearless. They will have confidence because they'll know how to do things.
Absolutely. And you talk about you saw an entrepreneurial parents, and you and your sister became entrepreneurs. And this woman we were just speaking about, I'm sure her kids. It'll be interesting if we go back and do a longitudinal study, seeing what happens with her children if they become entrepreneurs also. I know you so well, but before I do these interviews, I go and I do my research. So it's always fun for me when I'm Googling my own friends, which I don't normally do. And I was reading one of your interviews, and you talked about scaling at work and home. And so what did you mean by that, and how did you do it?
Well, I truly believe that we're always in a position where we need to continue to scale and grow, right? Because life is dynamic and life is changing all the time. And I think for me, part of scaling at home as I was a busy entrepreneur and executive and I had young children was learning how to ask for help. And so, we asked people to come in and help us to help take care of the kids, for example, when they got home from school, so that when I got home from work, I would have time to spend with them so that I wouldn't be the one having to do other things in the home so that I could be very devoted to them. And it was asking for help in a variety of ways, including in my workplace, hiring the right people, moving the right people around, giving myself permission sometimes to think outside of the box in terms of who I hire and how I hire.
That's great. And I do think it's hard for us sometimes to ask for help. I think a lot of women feel like they should do it all, but we really see where that breaks down, and we know that we can't do it all. And so being able to help each other through the process, being able to take that moment and actually articulate the fact that you need help is very important. And it's actually something that's popped up in a couple of the interviews that we've done. So whoever's listening, it's a common thread through this. Ask for help when you need it. And especially, again, for my food allergy moms who are managing family members with any form of disease, you're the ones who need the extra help, and it's hard to carry the load. So definitely seek out opportunities to partner with others and lighten your load. So Caren, before we end, we always ask people sort of these big three questions. And I know to some degree you've answered the first one, but hopefully you've got some other names too, which is what women inspired you to break through?
Yes, as I've mentioned, that is such a great question. Here's what I think about breaking through. We always need to keep breaking through. So there were certain women early in my career, like my mom and my sister, who helped me to break through to that stage. And then I continued to draw on those experiences and strengths, but continue to look for other women to help me break through. And even though at this moment in my life, I feel very blessed that I've achieved a lot of my goals, I still have many more goals. And lately I've been reflecting on Caren Johnson, the woman who did the mathematical calculations that John Glenn relied on for his orbit around the Earth. And I think of her because she overcame a lot of odds, but she knew herself. Again, getting back to this, know yourself. What are your strengths? What are you good at? What do you want to do? Because when you know yourself better, that gives you the confidence and the courage to keep plowing through. And Caren Johnson had confidence and courage at a point where a lot of women weren't, there were very few women at NASA. And look what she was able to achieve.
Absolutely one of my favorite movies, Hidden Figures. We were talking about it this weekend over lunch, in fact, because, just what an amazing group of women. And we again forget, and you mentioned this with the quotes, we're not the first people to face these challenges, and yet we're also not the first people who've run into walls. And yet the critical thing is you just have to keep breaking through. So I really appreciate that. What are you doing to inspire the next generation of female leaders?
I love to work with other women to help them achieve their potential. And they might be a lot younger than me. They might be in my peer set. Occasionally, they're even older than I am, because we're all at a different age and stage. And at every age and stage, we need people who are going to help us move on. So I have actually integrated this into my management philosophy. So when you work with me or for me, at the 3-month mark, we have the career talk, where I hear about what your hopes and dreams are. You've already done a Clifton Strengths assessment, which I'm a big believer in, and my whole team does them. I've done them, and we assess what are your hopes and dreams, what are your strengths, how can we find opportunities for you right here in this current role for you to lean into what you're really good at, and who else on the team has strengths that you don't, that we should be delegating to them. So that's a big part of what I do. I also have been involved in a variety of mentoring organizations. I've been a judge for the Vanetta Project, and advising women entrepreneurs on their pitches, on their business model, on their ideas. And I find that it comes quite naturally to me, and I really enjoy it. And my only barrier right now is to find the time to do more of it.
So when you do that and you're talking to these women, what is the one piece of advice you find yourself giving to women who are trying to break through, who are re-entering the workforce, who are trying to adjust their lifestyles due to some barrier in their road? What's the one thing that you really want them to remember?
Again, this is a theme of mine. It's in a lot of my writing. It's in my mobile app. It's in my email. And that is to know yourself better. But here's the thing. To know yourself better is really the essential skill of a leader, because you need to know what your strengths are. You also need to know what provokes you, for example. You need to know where are these areas that you struggle with. And you also need to know, this is a paradox, you can't know yourself better in isolation. You do need to reflect, do your own homework, think about what you have loved, what your strengths are, but you also need outside opinions and data. So the Clifton Strengths Assessment is one, but you need to be talking to your friends, the people that you've worked for, the people who have worked for you, to gain those insights so that you're moving forward truly in your strengths, and you have that joy that comes when you're actually in that flow of what you do best.
Well, that is wonderful, wonderful recommendation to end our talk today. Tell everybody very quickly, what's a website where people can follow you, or a digital platform that you like people to take a look at?
Thank you. So I'm at CarenMerrick.com, or you can find me on LinkedIn.
Great. Well, and as somebody who follows Caren's LinkedIn, I'll tell you that she has many inspirational stories, especially as she's been launching Virginia Ready and watching people who are breaking through and who are headed back to work and are retraining themselves. And it's just a fantastic opportunity for people to learn more and see what others are doing and be inspired. So Caren, thank you very much. We appreciate your joining us today, and I look forward to seeing you soon.
Thank you, Lisa. It was just delightful to be with you.